Hello and welcome viewers. You're watching this special presentation of Sansad TV, Seeking Direct Answers with your host, Kriti Mishra. And joining us today is a very special guest, Dr. G. Satheesh Reddy, former chairman of Defence Research and Development Organization and advisor to Raksha Mantri and the current president of the Aeronautical Society of India. So welcome to Sansad TV and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Sir, as India celebrates 26th anniversary of Pokr 2 tests and of course becoming nuclear power, how do you see India's journey and what is the significance of Pokr 2 for India?
It's a very important and major technological milestone. It's very important for the nation. It's a very complex and large test what has been done by India in 1998. It's very significant for India primarily that has brought in a lot of confidence in the scientists of the country and people at large. India has become a nuclear power with that. So that has paved the way for many more technological developments here in the country, that we can do any major breakthrough in the technologies is what the scientists have felt, and the country has put in confidence in that. Second, to protect our nation and also have confidence in the soldiers and in the nation, and to also create that India has a strong nuclear capabilities, has created a deterrence, and that is what actually makes the adversaries and nation to be careful with respect to this country. And these two are the important, points as far as the country is concerned, why the Pokran test, Mission Shakti, what is done in 1998 is very significant.
So help us understand, what were the reasons that led to Pokr 2 tests?
See, 1974, May 18th, we had done the first nuclear test, Smiling Buddha. That's primarily for proving the basic technologies, and we also can build such things, such technologies in the country, is what has been done. But that is not sufficient. If you have to build the devices, if you have to build the systems, a lot of technologies have to be developed. A lot of system developments have also had to be done, and with respect to size, whatnot, and very other things, and these have to be proved. And so, when the scientists have worked on it almost for 2 decades and developed all these things, that needs to be tested to prove what they have done it. And so, in 1998, the then Prime Minister Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji has taken a decision that yes, let us go ahead and do this test. And the test is very, very critical, particularly lots of people are watching. You need to avoid that, you have to do it very secretly. A lot of mechanisms were worked out, and then the test has been done without anyone noticing that India is going to do the test. On May 11th and May 13th, 5 tests have been done. World got surprised that India has done such tests without they noticing that they are preparing for such tests. And the tests have yielded. And the then Prime Minister has declared that India is a nuclear state. But at the same time, very clearly, we laid our policy saying that no first use, saying that India is for peace. These tests what have been done and these capabilities what have been developed only for deterrence. This is what it has the policy of India. And so, the world has realized, even though they have put in a lot of sanctions on India in the beginning, right at 1974 also some sanctions, 1998 lot of sanctions, but going through the policies and intentions of the country and the leadership of the country as a nation whole, then people realized and slowly started making again friendship with this country. So that's the journey, which is a very significant journey, and technologically is a major milestone, the Pokhran test in 1998.
So, how did we skip the satellites?
I don't want to get into too many details of it, but a lot of measures have been taken as looking as an army operation, looking all as armed forces people, right from Dr. Kalam wearing the armed uniform, moving the vehicles, communication being utmost care is taken in communications, and need to know basis, very few people were knowing what was happening and all that within the organization, within the government, and those communications also well coded words, and also you also know when the satellites and when they do and what are the timings and all that. So even a small exercise what you are doing also, try to see that you are not in the vicinity of those satellites look angles.
So, talking about today's India, from Pokhran to Make in India initiative, how do you see India's defense capabilities today?
See, firstly, I want to tell you one thing. The Pokhran tests are before that the couple of missile tests like Agni, and primarily Pokhran tests sanctions have helped India in a big way to come up as a self-reliant India, because many technologies were denied, many systems were denied, many materials and components were denied. So the scientists in the country had to work themselves and build all these subsystems, technologies, components, products which are required. And so over the next couple of decades, the people have worked on all those things, and so the country has become self-reliant in many areas. Lots of technology. So since Pokhran 1998, if you look at it, series of missiles development, the LCA Tejas aircraft development, the tank Arjun development, and various other technologies, radars, torpedoes, electronic warfare systems, and all that development started happening in the country, building each and every block within the country. So it is, I say it's in a blessing that there were sanctions, and so we took the challenge, and India stood up to these sanctions and could build all the technologies within itself. And today, we have become self-reliant, particularly in the last decade, where Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat have been brought by Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji. The country has become self-reliant in the areas of many defense technologies like missiles, radars, sonars, torpedoes, electronic warfare systems, AWACS systems, aircrafts and tanks, vehicles, guns, and we have become self-reliant in these areas. And the indigenous content in the armed forces is day by day enhancing, and now we have touched close to about 60% indigenous systems in the armed forces. And there are many steps which government has taken to see that indigenous systems come into induction. Like the highest priority is given to IDDM, indigenously designed developed systems, and Make 1 and Make 2, which paves the way for the industries to develop the various systems. A positive indigenization list which have come in, which actually you cannot import them, you have to develop in the country. And so these measures have also brought in a lot of indigenous content in the country, and then the industries have shown interest. An all-round ecosystem towards the defense technologies has come, and India has started moving from a large import country to Make in India, Atmanirbhar country, and even towards exports.
It's not only about indigenous design, development and deployment, it's also about bolstering exports. And recently we've seen that in the defense arena.
It's a very important question. India has been one of the large importers of defense equipment. Now the trend is changing. Lots of systems indigenously developed, and lots of advanced technologies are being developed in the country. The country is coming out. Let's say example, we take the ATACMS 155 artillery gun. Once upon a time we were importer, and then now we have made that gun in the country. And last year, Independence Day, it was used in the ceremonial firing at the Red Fort, where Honorable Prime Minister was speaking on that occasion, and that is the first time that a indigenous gun ka आवाज सुना हमने. And now that is the world's longest range gun, and a lot of countries are showing interest, and we are trying to export that. We have developed our own fighter aircraft, and many more are being developed. Many technologies like air independent propulsion we could develop here in the country, one of the very few technologies what we have developed. Another major significant achievement wise, I like to mention that Mission Shakti ASAT, which we have done in 2019, March 27th, wherein the satellite in the low Earth orbit is neutralized by a missile. That is a major milestone which Honorable Prime Minister declared to the world, and the world was taken again as a surprise that. So many technologies, systems have been developed, and we started moving towards exporting. Now, last year we have exported about 16,000 crores worth of defense equipment, $2 billion. And now this year it has become 21,000 crores. And so a lot more interests are shown by many other countries in various products what we have developed. And industries primarily, which actually were little away from defense in the last 10 years, they have come towards defense, a lot of interest, and they feel that defense is open to us now, and they are developing a lot of products and working with the DRDO, technology transfers and all that. And so they are now trying to export in a big way, not only giving to our armed forces, to the various world, and so the marketing capabilities are also developing here in the country. And over and above that, innovative products and technologies are coming up from our youngsters in the startups mechanism. So that is another important area. So it is a transformation from a leading importer to an exporter today. And I am sure in the coming 5 to 6 years, these exports will be going up in a big way, making India a significant exporter of defense systems and equipment.
Well, absolutely, sir. Point very well taken. You're also known as a missile man, so I'm reminded of BrahMos here. Can BrahMos propel India to become top defense supplier, at least in Asia?
See, we have developed lots of missiles in the country, whether it is ballistic missiles or surface-to-air missile like Akash, air-to-air missile Astra, and many other missiles, anti-tank missiles, and so many missiles, and BrahMos also as a supersonic cruise missile. There is a lot of interest shown by the world in all these missiles, and whether Asian countries or other countries, a lot of interest is shown. Some of them started getting exported, both BrahMos and Akash missile, and some more interests have come. And so, in the coming years, as I said, as India has also become a missile power with all the technologies developed here within the country, and varieties of missiles are developed, and so India will be exporting the missiles in the coming years in a big way.
So also I'd like to understand how would emerging technologies impact India's defense capabilities, nuclear capabilities, and perhaps space prowess also?
See, particularly many new technologies are coming up in the defense warfare, and lots of research is going on in the country, in academia. There are many centers of excellence which have come up. There are about 15 centers of excellence of DRDO which have come in the academic institutes. This is one thing. Then defense R&D is being promoted in the industries in a big way, and a lot of money is allocated for that. And then startups are being encouraged for innovations to come up in the country. And so all these technologies which are coming up are working on the first of its kind technologies, most advanced technologies, which will be actually changing the current scenario of the warfare, like drone systems, drone based systems, other space technologies, or autonomous systems, laser technologies. These are all the new technologies which will be changing the landscape of the warfare, and many of the technologies are being developed, or prototypes are coming up, or whichever way it is, in multiple stages within the country, which right from academic professors to scientists to engineers to industrialists to youngsters are taken up in multifolds to build these systems.
And sir, since we're talking about India's startup landscape also, how do you see the performance of startups, particularly in defense space and also the space technology?
See, there is a sea change in the country in the mindset of the youngsters. Earlier, youngsters were looking for always for a job. And second, they were not looking at defense at all. Now, today the scenario is they are all entering into startups. A lot of encouragement from the government towards that. Many mechanisms and schemes have come. And today in the country, the numbers of startups, if you look at it, 2016, we had somewhere around 450 plus startups in this country. And today the numbers are about 1,14,000 startups which have come up in the country. And there are thousands of startups which are working towards the defense technologies and products. This never seen in the country, never we thought of also. There are so many innovations which are coming up and which are trying to provide varieties of solutions, either through IDEX program or technology development funding or working through DRDO or directly working with armed forces. So there are so many technologies and products which are coming from these youngsters today. And there are many incubation centers which have come and technology hubs which have come, which are supporting these startups. And the mindset of the startups is a globally competitive mindset which has evolved. Globally competitive. So the product what you are trying to develop is not just to give it to the Indian defense forces, to see that this is attracts the entire world towards it.
Yes.
So this is a significant change what has happened in the mindset of the youngsters in the country, which happened in the last few years, as I said, from 2016 to now. And I am sure this will make actually India a leader in these technologies in the coming years.
Well, absolutely, sir. And since you're saying this, you're known for your contribution towards deployment, development, indigenous design of missile and other strategic systems. Thank you so much for joining us in the studio and giving that perspective to us, sir. Thanks a lot for speaking to Sansad TV.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, viewers, that's all we had for you in this edition. Thanks for watching and stay tuned to Sansad TV. Goodbye for now from my side.